that I always kind of had a hankering to be a newspaper man. I noticed that I didn't see you come around the Daily News very much.
In March 1953, on a quiet stretch of water in San Pedro Bay, Humphrey Bogart stood on the deck of his boat, the Santana, staring out at the ocean. He was 53 years old, hardened by decades in Hollywood, fresh off his Oscar win for The African Queen, and completely uninterested in playing games anymore. When a young reporter from Photoplay magazine asked him a question meant to be harmless, Bogart answered with a truth that Hollywood would never forgive. "Who's the most beautiful actress you've ever worked with?" the reporter asked. Bogart didn't smile. He took a long drag from his cigarette and said, "Kid, you're asking the wrong question." Hollywood, Bogart explained, sells beauty like a product, faces on billboards, bodies under perfect lighting, glamour carefully manufactured by studios that decide what the public is allowed to admire. But respect, class, and backbone were something else entirely. "This town is full of beautiful women," he said, "but women with real strength, there are only 6. The reporter hesitated, sensing danger. "Who are they?" Bogart smiled, that crooked smile that always meant trouble. "Pour yourself a drink," he said, "because once you hear this, you won't watch movies the same way again." The first name Bogart gave was Bette Davis, not because of her face, he said, but because of what she dared to do. In 1937, Bogart was a nobody at Warner Brothers, earning scraps and dying in B-movies. Bette Davis was already a star, powerful enough to scare studio heads. On the set of Marked Woman, Jack Warner ordered her to soften her character, to make her more likable, more feminine. Davis looked him in the eye and said she didn't play lies. When Warner threatened suspension, she picked up her purse and walked off set. 3 days later, the scene was rewritten her way. Bogart watched every man on that lot realize something terrifying. Real beauty wasn't obedience, it was courage. "Beauty is courage," Bogart said. "Everything else is just makeup." The second name was Ingrid Bergman, and this one hurt to talk about. During the filming of Casablanca in 1942, Bogart's personal life was falling apart. His marriage to Mayo Method was violent and humiliating, and he drank to survive it. One night after filming, as time goes by, Ingrid Bergman approached him quietly and asked a question no one in Hollywood ever asked. "Bogey," she said, "are you all right?" Bogart later admitted that question shattered him, not because she meant to, but because genuine kindness exposes every lie you tell yourself. "She wasn't beautiful because of her face," Bogart said. "She was beautiful because she was good, and goodness is dangerous." He never told her that. Shame kept him silent. The third woman was Ava Gardner, and when Bogart spoke her name, his voice warmed. During the Barefoot Contessa in Rome, Gardner was being torn apart by tabloids after her breakup with Frank Sinatra. Studios begged her to behave, to apologize, to be easier to sell. She refused. At a formal dinner filled with perfect dresses and practiced smiles, Ava kicked off her heels, ordered whiskey, and danced when the music played. A furious producer demanded that Bogart control her. He told the man that Ava wasn't embarrassing anyone, she was living. Later that night, Ava laughed and said they'd write terrible things no matter what. Wild doesn't mean broken, it means untamed, and Hollywood hates what it can't own. The fourth name was Katharine Hepburn, and this one carried weight. During the brutal shoot of The African Queen in the Congo, dysentery tore through the crew. One night, Bogart collapsed, feverish and delirious. He woke to Hepburn sitting beside him, holding a damp cloth to his forehead, refusing to leave. "You're worth saving," she told him. Bogart later wrote in his journal that she saved his life, not just from illness, but from giving up. Hollywood called her box office poison. She survived by refusing to change. That kind of beauty, Bogart said, is earned through endurance.
The fifth woman was Audrey Hepburn, and Bogart admitted he was ashamed of this one. On Sabrina, he had wanted his wife Lauren Bacall cast instead. He took his anger out on Audrey, treating her coldly and dismissively. She never retaliated. One day, when a crewman collapsed from heat exhaustion, Audrey was the first to kneel beside him, holding his hand and giving him water. Billy Wilder watched and told Bogart the truth. He could resent her casting, but he couldn't deny her character. On the final day of filming, Bogart apologized publicly. "You have grace," he told her, "and this business can't teach that." By now, the reporter had written 5 names: Bette Davis, Ingrid Bergman, Ava Gardner, Katharine Hepburn, Audrey Hepburn. He hesitated before asking the question that lingered in the air. "You said 6, he said quietly. "What about your wife, Lauren Bacall?" Humphrey Bogart went still. He stared at the water for a long time, the cigarette burning down between his fingers. Then he shook his head. "I can't put her on the list," he said. "You don't admire air. You don't rank it. You need it to survive." In March 1953, on a quiet stretch of water in San Pedro Bay, Humphrey Bogart stood on the deck of his boat, the Santana, staring out at the ocean. He was 53 years old, fresh off his Oscar win for The African Queen and done playing Hollywood's games. When a nervous reporter from Photoplay magazine asked him a harmless question, who was the most beautiful actress he had ever worked with, Bogart didn't smile. He took a drag from his cigarette and said, "Kid, you're asking the wrong question." Hollywood, Bogart explained, sold beauty like a product: perfect faces, perfect lighting, carefully manufactured glamour. But respect, courage, and backbone were something else entirely. "This town is full of beautiful women," he said, "but women with real strength, there are only 6. The reporter hesitated, sensing danger. "Who are they?" Bogart smiled. "Pour yourself a drink," he said, "because this will change how you watch movies." The first name was Bette Davis. In 1937, Bogart was a nobody at Warner Brothers, while Davis was already powerful. On the set of Marked Woman, studio head Jack Warner ordered her to soften her character. Davis refused. When threatened with suspension, she walked off set. Days later, the scene was rewritten her way. Bogart watched every man on that lot realize something terrifying. Real beauty wasn't obedience, it was courage. The second name was Ingrid Bergman. During Casablanca in 1942, Bogart's marriage to Mayo Method was violent and collapsing. One night, Ingrid Bergman quietly asked him, "Bogey, are you all right?" That simple kindness shattered him. She wasn't beautiful because of her face. She was beautiful because she was good. He never told her that. Shame kept him silent. Then came Ava Gardner, untamed and unapologetic. During the Barefoot Contessa in Rome, studios begged her to behave after her split from Frank Sinatra. She refused. She danced, laughed, and lived. Wild doesn't mean broken, it means free. The fourth was Katharine Hepburn, who saved Bogart's life during the brutal shoot of The African Queen in the Congo. When illness took him down, she stayed by his side. Hollywood called her box office poison. She survived by refusing to change. The fifth was Audrey Hepburn. On Sabrina, Bogart treated her cruelly out of resentment. She responded with grace, kindness, and dignity. On the final day, he apologized. "This business can't teach what you have," he told her. When asked about his wife, Lauren Bacall, Bogart shook his head. "You don't admire air, you need it." They met on To Have and Have Not in 1944, married in 1945, and proved Hollywood wrong. "She didn't fix me, she chose me." What Bogart described wasn't nostalgia, it was a warning. Beauty once meant character. Today, it means filters and fame. And if these stories aren't told, they disappear forever. Humphrey Bogart once said the toughest thing he ever did wasn't playing a tough guy, it was admitting he needed someone. And in that admission, Hollywood's greatest illusion finally collapsed. Beauty was never about being flawless. It was about being real and being chosen anyway.